the mix.
Collette and Carell hit the big screen together again, but this time, fans will witness Steve in a role that was a first even for this veteran movie star.
Steve, you play a jerk in this film.
I kind of do, yeah.
You love to hate him.
Oscar winner Octavia Spencer's latest film project, based on a true story, is not only making an impact on viewers, but having a lasting effect on the talented movie star.
Now it's time to mature as a woman and start my family.
Maya Rudolph, perky and pregnant.
I'm the water park lady.
That's all coming up right now. You are in the moment. You are in the mix.
In the Mix with Chris Rock.
I'm Alec Baldwin. I'm here with the gorgeous Gina.
I'm Larry King, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Kelly Ripa, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Matt Lauer, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Kathy Lee.
And I'm Hoda.
And you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Bethany Frankel, and you're watching In the Mix.
In the mix.
Welcome to this special episode of In the Mix here on location at Park City, Utah.
ITM went on location to Sundance to bring you the latest films coming to a theater near you and the talented celebs who star in them. One of the best parts of attending the Sundance Film Festival is experiencing some of the best films in the world before they roll out into the mainstream movie market.
You guys got plans for the night?
Yeah, nothing major though.
Fruitvale is a prime example of why the art of storytelling and making movies is an essential part of the human evolution process.
And me being a filmmaker, I was a filmmaker at the time, maybe I could tell that story and really get to the root of why it was so tragic.
Just ask the director of the film Fruitvale, Ryan Coogler, who was compelled to be the voice of a young man, Oscar Grant, who was fatally shot and killed by Oakland, California police New Year's Day, 2009.
I got the idea to do the project pretty much when it happened, and then kind of saw what happened to the Bay Area afterwards.
The deadly incident created a national controversy that resulted in a series of endless riots and Bay Area protests.
It happened on the Fruitvale BART station stop on the actual platform. He was held down with his hands behind his back and was shot in his back by officers.
Fatally shot.
Yeah, our film kind of follows the events leading up to that, and immediately following.
This incident turned violent in a matter of seconds. They went after the police vehicle, started throwing items, whether they be glass or whatever.
I was working as a security guard at a rave in San Francisco. Got a call on my phone. One of my boys hit me, said somebody just got shot. By the time I got back from my work, I got back probably about 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
He had already passed away, and the video footage from what happened to him was on the internet, available on YouTube.
It already went viral.
Yeah, and that was kind of what made the case. What it was that it was all caught on camera. Passengers that were on the train that saw him get taken off started to record once the brutality started to happen. And what happened to Oscar, it wasn't just him getting shot. He got beat up and a bunch of other things that happened before. That's what made people turn their cameras on. So I kind of got the idea to do that. When I saw that, I was very angry, very frustrated. There was a lot of protests and riots and demonstrations that followed. And I couldn't see myself having an impact that way.
Coogler's strong desire to make the film and a little help from Forrest Whitaker put his script into Oscar-winning hands.
When did Octavia sign on board? How did you get an Oscar winner in your first film? That's incredible.
I went to the Sundance Screenwriters Lab, after Forrest kind of greenlit the project. And Forrest is Oscar winner as well, so I'm sure that probably
incredible actor.
Played a little to help out. But coming out of the Screenwriters Lab last year, I got approached by an agent named Craig Castile, who worked for WME. He's just crazy, optimistic agent, man, a really good person. As I was assigned to sign with him, he read the script and said, hey man, he had these lofty ideas about who could play in the role. He said, hey, what about Octavia for the mom? And I was like, that's crazy. She just took home an Oscar, man.
Right.
Like she's fresh off the help. He said, well, no, this is a great project for her to jump on after that. So he got it to her agents, she read it, and then signed on.
Wow.
Why don't you take the train out there? That way you guys can drink and hang out and not have to worry about anything.
I feel like getting over there and getting back. I feel like waiting on no train.
Fruitvale stars Michael B. Jordan and Oscar winner Octavia Spencer.
What does the B stand for? Bad to the bone. How did you get involved in the film?
That was right around the time that things were slowing down and from the Oscars, but I was busy going from project to project, and I didn't have a chance to read the script, and my agent said, you need to read this script and learn a little bit about Ryan Coogler, the filmmaker. I didn't read the script. I watched the video and I thought, I have nothing to contribute here. I'm mad, I'm outraged, I have nothing to contribute to this film. And my agent said, then you need to read the film. You need to read the script. And after reading the script, I realized that what Ryan had done was show Oscar's humanity. He wasn't casting any sort of accusatory finger at the police, at Oscar. He was just painting the last day of this young man's life. And what a refreshing take on it. So I thought, absolutely, I'll do it. And then I heard he was involved, and I'm like, absolutely.
What was it like to work next to this Oscar winner here?
I mean, it was amazing. She's such a giving actress, you know, especially that scene in the prison. Whatever we did, that was kind of like, honestly one of my favorite scenes of the movie. I mean, she's awesome. She gives so much, and that's all you can really ask for in an acting partner, somebody that's going to give you what you need to get you where you need to go. Yeah, she's a pro at it.
Michael B. Jordan, how did you bring him onto the project?
Well, Mike, I knew I wanted Mike pretty much as I was writing the script. I'm not needing somebody because Oscar, when I researched him, he kind of had this like intrinsic charminess to him, and you kind of can see it from the pictures of him. If you ever seen a photo of the real Oscar, got this big, huge smile. You can tell everybody around him always loved him. He always had his daughter around him, always had people around him in all his pictures. So I needed somebody that had that. That's not something you could teach. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you kind of either have or you don't.
Absolutely.
I knew I needed somebody that could carry a film, and I knew I needed somebody that looked like Oscar, that had a big smile, that had those eyes, you know. And Michael B. Jordan just fit the bill, and the fact that it is a character-driven piece, you know, you need a phenomenal actor. He always did supporting work that I had seen, but it was always one of those things when you watch him and you wish the camera would stay on him. It'll go back to the main character, but I'm like, man, what happened with that guy that he was playing, you know, in his TV shows and in his films. So I always knew it would be Mike.
Michael, who is well known for his roles on Parenthood and Friday Night Lights, recently crossed over to the big screen, starring in Chronicle and Red Tails. But Fruitvale is his first leading role.
I mean, I grew up in television. It was fun. I've been blessed to kind of have a really good career on the TV side of things, and now to kind of transition to film is kind of where I want to go. This story had so much pressure, so much weight to it, especially playing a real person and knowing his mother, his daughter one day is going to see this film. There's a certain sense of responsibility I had being so close in age to Oscar. I just really, I don't know, wanted to do it justice.
Actress Melanie Diaz plays Oscar Grant's fiancée in Fruitvale.
I play Sofina, his baby mama. She's a real life person. And you know, when we see them, their relationship is kind of, you know, tumultuous, and they're having some trust issues. And you know, it's about like any relationship. Relationships are not easy, especially when you have a child involved. And you know, you really see Oscar trying to redeem himself and do right by his, you know, girlfriend and his child. I think it makes Oscar look like a very fully realized person, which he was. You know, like we're all trying to change and we're all trying to do the right thing. And we see that through his relationship with Sofina.
Actress Anna O'Reilly co-starred alongside Octavia in the film The Help and was thrilled to be a part of the Fruitvale ensemble.
I play a girl that Oscar meets, you know, pretty briefly in the supermarket earlier that day, and we have a sweet little interaction, and then
a hot girl to bump into in a supermarket.
Oh my God, what a hot guy to bump into at the grocery store. And then I come back later, I'm on the train with him, and I witnessed the fight, and then I filmed the shooting on the BART platform, as a lot of people did. My character is basically one of a stranger that pops into his life and then is there at the end.
I like what you said before too, is like so often we see strangers and we don't know how they're gonna like come back, you know? Mm-hmm. And in the movie you see how it comes full circle with Anna's character and Mike.
You know, it's a day in the life of Oscar Grant before his tragic fall, and we get a glimpse into all of the major relationships in his life, and we just really get to see who he was as a human instead of just the outcome of his life.
Yeah, and like I always feel like whenever I see stuff on the news, it's all about their death. It's all about, you know, them dying and how they died. And this movie is about his life and who he was.
The director and cast of Fruitvale had the opportunity to meet Oscar Grant's family and friends while creating the film. What was it like initially to meet Oscar's mom?
It was very heavy. It was not a lot of words being said, kind of awkward. Actually, the first time I met her, I was dressed just like him in his clothes, riding in his car, and I know for her that had to be, it's always weird because it's like, you know, you're dealing with somebody who just You just handled a death, so it's like you don't really want to say the wrong things, or so you're always thinking almost for her, like, oh my God, I can't say this, or I know she's gonna look at me all crazy, so I can't, you know. So it was always that sense of I don't know, respect for one another. So I just kind of patiently waited for her to kind of open up, and when she wanted to talk, I was there to listen, and that's kind of what I did. But just hanging out with his mom, his daughter, all his best friends, his fiance, and just kind of, you know, getting to know, you know, Oscar. And there's no audio, there's no video on him, so it's not like I had anything to go off of. So I just tried to get, you know, the best picture painted possible by all his friends, the people that knew him the best.
Do you feel like you know Oscar as a person?
No, I know about him. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm very close to knowing as much about him as with him not being here. But I mean, the great tragedy in it is that he's gone. So many times I wish I could go to him and say, hey, Oscar, man, how would you feel about this? How would you feel about that? Like you look at a film like Aaron Brockovich that they made with the person who's still around. I feel like we got as close as possible.
What was the most intimate thing you had to do to get to know him, to include into your screenplay?
I mean, I would say talking to his daughter was the most intimate thing. You know what I mean? Like when he was with his daughter, he was the best version of himself.
Did you write his daughter into the film? You did?
Yeah,
Who played his daughter?
A girl named Ariana Neal, very talented actress.
Did you get to meet Safina?
I did.
What was that like?
It was intense. It was so intense because she's a really tough girl and she's very private. She's kind of like an onion, so I'm glad that I got to hang out with her a little bit more.
Did you say she was kind of like an onion? Yeah. I love it. So you're insinuating
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, she's been through a lot, so if I were in her position, I wouldn't be very giving of my personal life. And but I think she knew what this film was going to be and how important it was to show the flip side of Oscar, the things that we didn't see.
Did you get a chance to witness her reaction to the film?
She hasn't seen it, I know that, and I don't think she's gonna see it. I think that it was a really painful experience for her, and she doesn't want to go back, from what I understand, speaking to her, and I completely understand.
Instead of protesting or rioting, Coogler made a conscious decision to put his frustration and desire for justice into a story that is based on Oscar Grant's final moments in Fruitvale.
Did you intend to have a social message attached to this film? I
intended for it to raise social discussion, you know, like with everything I hope to make, you know, I hope it all has that element. As far as a specific social message, the only one that I feel like it has is that everybody's a human being. You know what I mean? Everybody deserves to be treated like one. Our biggest goal is to make a good film, though. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
I think you succeeded in that, sir. You're being honored for that here at the festival, so congratulations again for that.
Fruitvale won the Grand Jury Prize for Dramatic Film and the Drama category's Audience Award at Sundance.
This goes back to my home, to the Bay Area. Where Oscar Grant lived, breathed, slept, loved, fought, had fun, and survived.
There's a large percentage of all different ethnicities that are fatally wounded by police officers, and this is an issue in America. Do you feel that this is the bigger message in the film?
No. It's more of a tool. It's a vehicle to show how we look at ourselves as people. Humanity, you know, and that was really important in the film because we wanted to show Oscar's relationships with everybody. You know, how he treated his daughter, his mom, his fiance, his friends, how he treated strangers, how strangers treated him. You know, at first glance, they have one opinion, and once they have a few words of exchange, then it's a completely different outlook. So that's kind of what we really wanted to do. We wanted people to look at, if we can get people to think after watching this movie about how we treat each other, regardless of where we're from, the color of our skin, our gender, what social background, whatever, then I feel as though we did our job and people got the message.
You think that there's a solution there as well?
For sure. I mean, obviously, there's the obvious, you know, that, you know, people know, you know, the Trayvon Martins of the world. You know, there's tons of Trayvons and Oscar Grants throughout the country that, you know, the story never gets, you know, seen the light of day. So, I mean, that's the obvious that we didn't feel as though we had to beat people over the head with. You know, we give our audience members a little bit more credit. You know, you can put the two and two together. So I think the underlying message was definitely humanity.
What would you think the overall message is here in the film? Because there's a few.
I think a maybe oversimplified message is just, you know, looking at how we treat each other, and just on a basic human level of you know, respect and tolerance.
I think most importantly, like, to have a conversation about it. Like, we need to be talking about these things. Like, I didn't know about this until I got a script, and I was like, how did this slip through the cracks? Like, Where is the media?
Still to come. Oscar winner Octavia Spencer's latest film project, based on a true story, is not only making an impact on viewers, but having a lasting effect on the talented movie star.
Now it's time to mature as a woman and start my family.
Collette and Carell hit the big screen together again, but this time, fans will witness Steve in a role that was a first even for this veteran movie star.
Steve, you play a jerk in this film.
I kind of do, yeah.
That's all coming your way on this episode of Sundance Part 2. Don't move.
In the mix.
It is a long, cold, nasty winter. Nothing is as warm as fur.
When the most finicky fashionistas from near and far need anything fur, they make the trip to Closter Furs and Fashions to meet with the fur whisperer.
I'm Florence New. I'm the owner of Closter Furs and Fashions. I think that when girls come in here, they immediately have a bond with me.
Closter Furs offers hundreds of styles that you'd find on Madison Avenue for a quarter of the price.
A lot of jackets, reversibles, shearlings, microfiber on the outside and mink on the inside, serviceable pieces, pieces with hoods.
Closter Furs and Fashions fulfills all your fur needs, restyling your old fur and making it new.
We change the size of it, we change the look of it, and we make it into something that you will actually use.
Plus, cold storage, original designs, and of course, Flo's expertise.
You can walk out of here and feel like $1 million.
Closter Furs and Fashions, 570 Piermont Road, Closter, New Jersey. Just 15 minutes over the GW Bridge. In the Mix is presented by GoPro, Agave, the Clam Man Seafood Market caterers in Southampton, and South Shore Signs and Graphics.
In the mix.
Welcome back to this special episode of In the Mix here at Sundance 2013. I'm Gina Jordan with the cast of Fruitvale.
You guys got plans for the night?
Yeah, nothing major though.
The Fruitvale premiere was an emotional yet uplifting experience for the cast.
It's a downer, no doubt about it. It's because it's reality, and the fact that something like that can happen to a person is terrible. But last night was so amazing. Like, his uncle stood up and his uncle was like, thank you, and you could see how happy they were, you know, and I think that's what cinema is about, you know what I mean? Like, that's why we go to movies.
Despite the intense nature of the film, the cast found time to celebrate the bigger message. This story is going to stick with you for a while. How do you switch gears?
Well, I think last night, as moving and intense as it was, there's also this feeling of excitement, and everybody's, you know, kind of radiating, because we're all getting the feeling that this story is, not only has it been told, but that hopefully a lot of people are going to see it and be talking about it. So I think there's this, you know, kind of undercurrent of, oh my God, it's happening.
I'm partying tonight. That's what I'm doing.
You partied last night.
I went. I saw Nas perform last night at Tao. I couldn't pass up on that. So.
How was the performance?
It was cool. I love Nas, so I mean, I had to come support.
And Octavia, what was? I feel like I pictured like a shot of him at the Nas concert, and then you, sort of like at home, tea, cuddled up.
No, I actually can't divulge my actions because it would be bad for a world security. No, yeah, my life isn't that exciting. I needed to try to get a little sleep, and I still didn't, because I was so revved up from this movie, and the emotional weight of watching it with his family just kind of, you know, I just needed to decompress, and hey, we're at Sundance.
Octavia admitted being a part of a film as powerful as Fruitvale made her personally analyze and self-reflect on just how short life is. How long ago did you shoot the film?
The summer.
August.
You're already promoting the film?
Yeah.
And you're at Sundance? It's just that quick. So there's a lot of compromise in life when you do this for a living. Do you feel that you've made the right decisions in your life when it comes to making those compromises, Octavia?
Absolutely. You know, I haven't compromised anything, I don't think. I mean, I think everything comes to you when it's supposed to. And for me, I've been a very driven, career-oriented woman. And now I'm still a driven, career-oriented woman who has an eye toward family. I think you reach those places in your life as you mature to them. And so, career, I've matured. Now it's time to mature as a woman and start my family.
Everybody has their own time clock. What about you? Time clock?
Time clock? Biological.
Is your biological clock ticking?
No, it's not. It's not clicking. For me, it's
It's not clicking or ticking.
Michael, I'm sorry. I think you're lying.
Compromise. The only thing I can say I compromised probably being around my family more growing up. I moved to LA when I was 19, and just been pushing it ever since. So I think that's probably my only compromise, honestly. Career-wise, it's been a blessing from stepping stone to stepping stone, from job to job, learning from everybody, especially like, you know, veterans, young veterans.
Young veterans.
Like Octavia here. It was it's been a nice little journey.
Coming up, Collette and Carell hit the big screen together again. But this time, fans will witness Steve in a role that was a first even for this veteran movie star.
Steve, you play a jerk in this film.
Kind of do, yeah.
You love to hate him.
That's all coming up in about a minute, so don't move.
In the mix.
This episode of In the Mix is presented by the Bedford Post Inn. Log on to bedfordpostin.com for detailed info and room reservations.
In the mix.
Welcome back to this special episode of In the Mix here in Park City, Utah. Sundance 2013, I'm Gina Jordan. Here we are, Sundance 2013, The Way, Way Back, starring Steve Carell. Steve, you play a jerk in this film.
I kind of do, yeah.
The film The Way, Way Back is a coming-of-age story about a boy, Duncan, who spends a summer working at a water park. Funny man Carell takes a risky departure from his usual nice guy role to portray a major jerk.
Everybody lends a hand.
Was it fun for you to go in the total?
Yeah.
Are you a jerk in real life?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Carell was such a convincing jerk-off that all his co-stars, including Liam James, were genuinely scared of Carell while working certain scenes.
Tell us what it was like to have Steve Carell as a potential jerk in the film telling you what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when he's so funny all the time, and then the scene turns on. It's almost hilarious when he's mean to you. He's so mean to you that it's just hilarious.
Steve Carell, on the other hand, he just said he's a jerk, and
Yeah.
How did you convince him to be so jerky?
I know. Well, it's weirdly came naturally to him. So you heard it here first.
Wow.
No.
I think he was excited to play against Type.
Yeah.
Liam said in some of the takes that he got a little scared of him, that he actually...
He was so good. It was really fun to watch him do that, just to not seeing him do a ton of that before, and so to see that kind of unfold was really exciting.
A lot of people say that you're really a jerk. I mean, some of your co-stars were afraid. When those cameras were rolling, Liam said that he was a little frightened.
Well, that's kind of him to say that I was a jerk. I appreciate that. And I'll go on record by saying he was a jerk. And he wasn't playing a jerk. He was just a jerk. No, it was fun. You know, it was different. It was sort of a different kind of character. He's a guy who doesn't really have a warm center to him.
Carell, who's best known for playing lovable buffoons in movies like Anchorman, Evan Almighty, Dinner for Schmucks, and 40-Year-Old Virgin, admitted playing the jerk role was easier.
It was fun. It was a different type of character. I thought the script was very strong. And I was just saying I found it to be economical. It didn't have a lot of extraneous words or it didn't seem to meander. It was very concise, which I thought was great.
Every day, did you go home and you were a jerk to the family? Did you have to keep it going?
Oh, was I in character the whole time? No, I would drop in and out of the character, but I don't like being a jerk in real life. It doesn't. It's not fun.
I can tell that you're not a jerk in real life.
Kind of you.
Zoe Levin, who plays Carell's obnoxious daughter, Steph, told us that luckily, Carell truly is a good guy in real life.
He's so great, and he really made me feel comfortable, especially because we weren't so nice in the film. Right. So it was really fun to work off of him and sort of have this like grumpy cloud following us all the time. So
tell people a little bit about how he's got a real change of character in this film, right?
Yeah, it's really weird because Steve is always so lovable on screen, and I always, love watching him, and he's always so funny. But in this movie, it's a bit different.
A very different character.
Yeah, and it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but I think people will really like it because it's you love to hate him.
Australian actress Toni Collette plays Carell's girlfriend and Duncan's mom, Pam, in the film.
So do you think you will, Pam?
Do I think I will what?
Talk to the Keegans?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know them.
What was it also to work with Toni Collette as your mother? I mean, she's a fantastic actress.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's the most lovely person I think I've ever met in my life. She was extremely kind to me. especially, I think, and I really thank her for that.
You also play a sort of mentor to your son through the process in China.
Actually, it's the reverse. I think that's what people might expect, but I think the thing I love the most about our relationship is he teaches me.
I like that. You can learn a lot from children. Do you learn a lot from your own children?
They're the most unstained beings on this planet. We all get all screwed up the further we go along.
Collette and Carell, who co-starred together in the Oscar-winning film Little Miss Sunshine, which premiered at the 2006 Sundance Film Festival, reunite again on the big screen in the way, way back.
Another film with Steve. What was it like to work with him again?
Brilliant. Yeah. No. Yeah, of course I did. He's a lovely person and a great actor. Who could ask for more?
SNL alum and Bridesmaids co-star Maya Rudolph has a brief cameo role as a water park manager.
Be part of a tradition.
Seriously, there's no bit here. We're gonna miss you. Plain and simple.
I guess if there's one thing I will miss dearly, it is this.
I'm sort of the manager of the water park, and I'm sort of the overseer of Sam Rockwell and his slovenliness and lazy attitude towards his job. Apparently, I've been working there for a long time, and I'm really over it. And so we have a love-hate relationship in it. Yeah, I'm the water park lady.
Rudolph, who's pregnant with her 4th child, doesn't forget where she came from. The movie was written and directed by her Groundlings sketch comedy constituents, actors Jim Rash and Matt Faxon. They all graduated from the infamous School of Comedy at the Groundlings Theater in LA. Other famous alum include Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig, and Melissa McCarthy.
Maya, you have played some incredible roles in life. What makes you pick a role like Water Park Lady?
Water Park Lady. This particular role, I picked this movie because Jim Rash and Nat Faxon are my old friends. We used to be in the Groundlings together in Los Angeles when we were really young, and I grew up with them. They're part of my family, and I was so lucky that there was something for me to do in it because I was championing this movie anyway, and you know, seeing people respond to them as well, like this. The crew that they got together for this, everyone from the costume department to the camera department, it was such a clear indication of their talent, and it was really an incredible project. I was really happy to see it come together for them.
Maya Rudolph loves the two of you, speaks of you extremely highly, just told me that you're some of the best writers in the business, and she was so thrilled that she could be in the film and make a little cameo there as the water park manager?
Sort of assistant manager, yeah. She's actually running the place while Sam sort of a character goofs around. So she's sort of really the rock at this rundown water park. But yeah, we've known Maya, you know, from the Groundlings for years, and it's quite emotional. Not she's saying she's giving us something, but to have her in our movie is really, it's because it's friends doing something, you know, because they respect you and your work and what we're all trying to do here.
And this was not this was just something we knew we wanted to do this with her, and this was like a smaller thing, and we just said, let's figure out a way to make it bigger so that we can get Maya to be a part of it.
Yeah.
The Way, Way Back directors are the same team that won an Oscar for The Descendants for the Best Adapted Screenplay.
When it comes to any film, bringing it to Sundance, what does it mean to you guys both?
It's just the final sort of stage of a really long journey, and so it's very emotional and very gratifying and very special, you know, and I feel like incredibly lucky to be here and with, you know, my best friend and doing it together.
Now Rudolph became a household name thanks to her zany and hit SNL impersonations of celebs. Who can forget her take on Donatella Versace, Oprah, and the late great Whitney Houston.
It's my birthday!
Maya, who pays homage to the directors by taking on the role as Water Park Lady, credits her SNL success to her humble beginnings as a groundling, acting in the legendary improvisation sketch comedy theater.
We come from sketch comedy and improv together, and so we're used to working together, and you're always supporting each other, and I prefer that. I don't like being alone. It's not as fun. I've written the weirdest sketches with those two guys. I mean, really stupid stuff.
I've had so much fun, guys. Sundance has been absolutely fantastic this year. I've had a great time. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the mix.